1 to 10. 1 to 10. Let's go. Let's get into it. Coach Colin here. There's been a development with Charlie Kirk and his security team. Just some revelations that have gone on. Basically, the co-founder is letting us know who is actually responsible for what happened to Charlie Kirk, which is pretty wild, in my opinion, for him to come out and say this. And as I was looking into this situation, I started to realize that there's some kind of dispute or some kind of someone getting kind of backdoored in the security world. So the security company that was actually responsible for Charlie has disappeared into the shadows, and this other security firm has been taking all the blame online. And that security company actually came forward and said exactly that. So let's just start with this clip of Tyler Bowyer coming forward and telling us who is actually responsible for what happened to Charlie.
Every single event that's held is a combination of our security team working with the local police. In this case, on university campuses, it's the university police. The university police department is responsible. There's a line that is drawn, right, where there's personal protection for Charlie versus protection for the campus in this case, or if it's out in, the world, the city or whatever, right? In this case, for Utah Valley University, their responsibility was to protect the campus, all of the perimeter, rooftops, everything else. When we go out in public, our team handles those things where there isn't a police department to work with or do that with. So whether it's a drone program or covering all those angles or perimeter, they do all that. But when you're having to work with partners who are responsible for those elements, you're depending on them. There are some elements here where it's like there are people asking, well, why wasn't this that? Well, that wasn't Charlie's team would have done anything and everything, particularly if it was completely within our purview. And they did an incredible and impeccable job at all times, always covering Charlie. I mean, they were the first people that were trying to save Charlie's life when he was assassinated, and doing all of that. They love that man inside and out, right?
Yeah.
And they would do the same, not just for Charlie, but for anyone on our team. And they would take a bullet, jump in front of a car, do anything that they possibly could. And so we're praying for them. We hope that everybody is praying for them because they're being unfairly targeted by people who online who are making suggestions, like really wild, crazy suggestions that are not even possibly remotely true. And, that's really hard on people who are, that love and care so much for a person.
Mm-hmm.
And again, too, I feel bad for other officers that were involved with this, right? That were maybe part of the department and things like that. Obviously, there's some really significant and dramatic lessons to be learned that are coming out of this. A really competent drone program, for example, would have saved Charlie's life, right? And that should be the standard protocol on every single campus. Without question, there should be eyes on every rooftop at all times, like with everything. We'll see what happens with the investigation and what comes out on all of that and how this, tragedy unfolded. The guy is in custody and he's going to be going to trial and all this is going to come out. So, we're waiting just like everybody else.
Man, I don't know, man. When it comes to security, to kind of pass it off to the university police, because that's what he's basically doing. He's saying that it's the university police that were supposed to watch for the rooftops and the droning and, all of that stuff. I kind of have to go towards a security firm that was assigned the contract with Turning Point, with Charlie. You would think they just have all that stuff in hand. And also, if they go to a university where there's a roof, how do you not ask the question, just as someone in security, especially if you love the person that you're guarding, you love them, you really love them. How do you not go, hey, I know you guys don't have anybody on the roof. I have extra guys. Can I just get a guy on just straight ahead? Can I just get a guy up there who can just look around? It's a pretty easy request. And it's not like they're going to be like, absolutely not. No, we determined there's no threat on the roof. It's like the university police versus the security firm that's handling somebody who's worth 9 figures, Charlie Kirk. Who outranks who in that situation? I would say the security firm outranks the university police, in a very nice way. I'm not saying in an overbearing way, but just like, hey, we have to actually do this, and if you're not letting us do this, we're just going to fly a drone up there. There's just going to be a drone in the sky. We have to protect the sky. We have to make sure there's no one on the roof. Can you and I go on the roof? Like, that would be my first question. Can you and I go on this roof and look around? And guess when it would be? That horrible thing happened on September 10th. I'd be doing that on September 1st. We're just going on the roof. I just want to see it. Something. That means none of those security guys went on that roof. They don't know what it looked like. They have no idea what the access points are. They just left that in someone else's hands completely. Ah, man. It sucks to hear, but at the same time, I'm not saying I don't buy it, like as if they did something terrible, but I don't buy that that's just on the university police and it's not on this security firm at all. I just don't buy it. Let's go deeper into it though. Let's just jump in here. This video was taken, you don't really have to mind the guy who's talking, but I just want to play the video just to show what the roof looked like.
Guys, it's the evening time. I was helping someone to get to the area where they're putting flowers, but there's one different thing. There's an American flag hung over the place where the incident took place, where Charlie Kirk got shot. So that's something different that happened today at Utah Valley University. And stay tuned and follow if you want to see what other differences happened till now. And as you could see, people are coming, a crowd is coming, like in the evening, to look and pay their respect to the place where you could.
So that's just why I only play that just to show that's what the roof looked like. I'm going to slow it down a little bit and just let that play. So, and mute it also, because we don't need that guy. So it just seems like there was a whole lot of roof. You would think as a security firm, and I know I'm not security, but I know if I loved somebody and I walked into this place, I'd be like, oh, I think I need extra guys. I need guys in these windows. I need guys on these roofs. There's different levels. I need to have access to all of this. We need to have access to all of this. And if we can't have access to all of it, we need to do this inside. We need to do this somewhere else. We need to postpone this, something. Like, let's go to the next tour date. Let's just move along. If they're just not going to let me cover that type of stuff. I don't know, man. Like, you can see here, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of places that we're seeing for people to hide. A lot. Different levels, like I said. There's even a level higher than this one. I mean, come on, man. Now, obviously, this one's behind Charlie. There are speculations about something happening behind him. But I don't think that this might make it, actually, because he was like more out here. So this actually might make it. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, there's so much. Look at all this. How do you not patrol all this and just leave it in the university police? I mean, no offense to any university police, but if I'm former military, which the guys who run this military firm, I believe it's called Integrity. We'll find the name out in a second. If I'm going to look at the university police. You guys, listen, I'm former military. I run a security company. We're good. You're just going to take my lead on this, and you're going to learn a thing or two today. How about that? Because I have someone that I love that I'm protecting today, right? Like, keep that in mind. Someone that I love. So they've gone into the shadows, and it's because they're so upset as I don't want to get his name wrong. What's his name? Tyler. Oh, that's a weird coincidence. As Tyler said, right? Here, check this out. Walkthrough of UVU reveals a sea of cameras. This is also very weird. Nearly every corner, every entrance, every rooftop, cameras everywhere, mounted, hidden, overlapping, so much that surveillance inside and outside university police. What are they hiding? It's very interesting. Start to look at this. He's right. There are many cameras, but I'm going to show you a certain camera angle that nobody's talking about, and they should be. And I think it's because they don't know that this camera angle actually existed. But let's just see what this video is. I gotta say really quick, I would love to see the video of how he was walking, because people are speculating. Look at his pants, how tight they are. People are speculating that he was on another camera on a neighbor's camera system, and he was walking like a peg leg. He was kind of walking like, like as if there was something all the way down his pant leg, and they speculated that that was the rifle that he had. But then when you see him here, he had to have been walking fine. How do you even manage going up these stairs? Trying to just blend in with everybody, and you're trying to go upstairs with like a straight leg. You'd have to be, I wish you guys could see me. You'd have to be like, you'd have a weird little jaunt up those stairs. It would look crazy. But let's keep going. Cameras everywhere. This is nuts. It's wild that they, I don't know if you saw my video, that they demolished all this. So they actually did have caution tape up at one point. Then they just demolished all of it. Oh, this is the trap door everybody was talking about. Someone in the comments, shout out to you. Thanks for letting me know. Apparently, this is to give access to electrical, and I think they said plumbing as well. So that's the explanation there. Could it fit a person? Nobody really knows that whole thing. Does it lead to other caverns or this or that? Nobody knows that either, but that's people's explanation for the trap door. I don't know. If you buy it, you buy it. If you don't, you don't, There's literally cameras everywhere. Just everywhere. I mean, they're showing this camera. This is some of the stuff that I was covering the other day. The fact that they had these weird panels missing. They completely redid those. There was a lot of stuff that they just shouldn't have touched that they just did. Cameras everywhere. So that's basically what the person is showing us. Just cameras everywhere. Everywhere. If they have a camera like that, why haven't we seen that view? Right? The one view of him running off the roof is from a camera. So if he was pointing this way at Charlie, he ran another way. So it's from another building, obviously. So, yeah. So there has to be more angles. There has to be. But this is just to show there are so many cameras. So many cameras. And all I'm saying is, where's all that footage? Why haven't they talked about it much? Now, here's where we get into the security beef, security revelation. Schaefer Security Group wasn't guarding Charlie on that day. Integrity Security Solutions, DBA Rockhouse Group, was. According to Greg Schaefer, the CEO, he was backdoored, and Integrity Solutions actually snatched the Turning Point USA security contract. A string of tweets actually shows that. Now, this is actually, this is actually the guy who is running Integrity. This is Greg Schaefer, right? So this guy's been getting blasted online recently. As soon as it happened, everybody was just talking about him and the terrible job he did, et cetera, et cetera. And the other guys from Integrity, they just kind of disappeared. You haven't seen them really. You haven't heard from them. No statements, nothing. The guy who was the white hat guy who like touched his hat and did something weird that people had a hunch that he was signaling. He actually made a statement. He was I think he was a pastor, I believe he said, really close with Charlie, spiritual mentor to Charlie in a sense, and he gave a statement. None of the security guys gave any type of statements whatsoever, at least to the public. You know, maybe Cash and Dan. Maybe Pam has a statement from those guys on her desk somewhere. I'm not sure. This is Schaefer Group actually coming out and saying this. He said this security firm was contracted by Turning Point USA for security when Charlie Kirk was passing away. When he passed away, they want to remain in the shadows while my firm takes the blame. SSG was not and had not been affiliated or contracted to do security for Turning Point since 2022. So he's just kind of in a string of tweets was showing who was actually responsible for this. So it was actually raw, and I guess they backdoored him because, you know, getting a contract for Turning Point would actually be pretty good money. You would be covering guys like Officer Tatum, Charlie, and various other people who were at speaking events. And honestly, probably Candace at one of the next conferences. She probably would have been there. More than likely, Charlie was trying to bridge those gaps with people and trying to help people be heard. Now, let's get into that camera angle that I was talking about. Now, this is, I hope I didn't call him by the wrong name. So this is the guy who runs, he's the head of the security for Turning Point. His name's Dan Flood. So now this is him at another event, okay? And he's pressing his glasses because he has meta glasses on. He's always recording. Now watch this. Now, I don't want to show that moment too much, but that right there is Dan. That's the guy who does the arm thing. Dan is the guy that does the thing, and everybody's like, that was a signal, blah, blah, blah. He's actually doing it right in this frame. This is the other guy who people thought was signaling. And let's just, I'm going to move ahead a little bit. So that's Dan there, rushing to Charlie. And then you see him turn off his camera. So now I'm not saying I wouldn't want to see Dan's view of that whole situation with Charlie. I wouldn't want to see that. But Dan should have a view, possibly of the roof, directly where Tyler was. He should have that view. Instead of that grainy video where Tyler's just running and he jumps off the roof, it should also be accompanied with Dan's view through his meta glasses. He should be able to see him. If he's scanning the roof like he should be scanning the crowd. That's the first thing. And then he should be scanning the roofs. If he's doing that, right in front of him should be a guy, a little bit of an image, you know, just kind of popping up a little bit. And that would be interesting to see. That has not developed yet. You know, nobody's talking about that. Again, Schaefer just made sure to let people know that they are not the ones that are responsible. They say integrity matters. They're kind of, you know, poking fun at integrity security solutions because of what they did. And I'm honest, man. Honestly, I just can't get over the fact. So there's a much bigger thing going on here. Brian Harpole and Dan Flood essentially screwed over security companies by creating their own company. So and then they undercut the contract. So this is another person here who people were thinking was like a person of interest. This guy right here, the circle around his head. And then this guy here, that's Dan. That's Brian. These are the two guys that run this security company. And when you look into them, they're slightly connected to Philadelphia. A lot of people hear me say Philadelphia. On my second channel, people know what I mean when I say Philadelphia. On this channel, people actually aren't quite catching on. When I say Philadelphia, I'm talking about this place in the Middle East that you're not allowed to really talk about. It's called Philadelphia. I don't know how else to break it to you. But yeah, that's that connection there. But I mean, at the end of the day, even aside from all that, just be as charitable, just live in the world where the official narrative is the narrative. Just to say the university police are the ones to blame, to say that it's on them to have university police having a drone system where they're like, oh, there's going to be someone speaking, get the drones, guys, and fly around the drones. They're not going to have anything like that. I mean, I know it's a university. There's a lot of monies inside universities, but they're not going to have anything like that. Like, come on, man. That's on you to have. It's on you to. Here's what I would think as a security company. Sure, the university police, they might have something. They might have drones. They might have like a system where they're like, okay, we put guys on. These are the roof guys. And these guys are always on the roof and we're scanning and blah, blah, blah. Cool. Great if they have that. But I would think it's on you as a firm where everywhere you go, you're prepared for the situation. So you're prepared to meet with them and say, hey, listen, this is what we need. It's not about what you're willing to do or not do. Again, I have someone I love that I'm keeping safe. So I don't care what you're willing to do. I have drones. We'll use my drones. You know what I mean? It's like I used to be a videographer. You show up to a videography thing and you're working with a guy. You bring everything you got. You're like, I got lenses. You got lenses? Cool. I have a bunch. I have backup batteries. I have 2 backup cameras. I got everything we need. You got everything? Cool. I'll put my stuff away. And then if anything happens, I got the stuff. You would think security would work something similar. Where you're like, listen, you guys don't have. This is what a security team. I know I'm going on here. I'm going to end the video. Don't worry. But a security team should have everything. So they should be walking up saying, listen, you guys don't have drones. That's fine. We do. We're going to fly our drones. So when you hear something in the sky, just know that that's us. Okay. We have 3 drones. We're going to be looking at the roofs to make sure no one's on the roof. And also, I want access to the roof. I know. You guys don't usually do that. I know. But we do that because Charlie Kirk's here. So just so you know, he got Trump elected. I mean, he got the president elected, and you know, he introduced RFK to the president. He introduced JD Vance to the president. You know, he's kind of a president maker, so he's kind of valuable. So we're gonna actually just be on the roof. So give me the keys. Whoever needs to let me up, have them let me up. Or I could be wrong. I could be 100% wrong. But to hear that it's the university police, and the onus is off these men because of how hurt they are by the whole situation. I understand they're hurt. I mean, even if you didn't care about the guy, you'd still be hurt. You know, when I know firsthand from the officers that I know that if there's any loss of life, they're torn up about it. Any loss of life, whether it's them that has to do it or they didn't get there in time, they're always torn up about it. So 100%, I could definitely see them like that. But you can't put that on the university police. You're the ones that were tasked with protecting Charlie. You're the ones, you know. Anyways, guys, I just wanted to bring that to you. I fell down a rabbit hole, I gotta say. Anyways, I'm out of here.